One, two, three, four.
Presentations.
Which way you going?
One, two, 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 three, 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 four. One. One, two, three, four. Ready? Keep going. One, two, two, three, 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 four, four, four. One, keep going. One, two, 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 three. One, two, 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 three, 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 four, four, four. One, two, 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 three, four, four, four. One, two, 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 three. Four, four, four. One. I'll just do it.
One, two, three, three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Forget my alphabet.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
And on Zoom is school committee woman Denise Hurst. She's a little bit under the weather. I hope you'll feel better soon. And also attorney Peter Murphy, who's recovering very, very well. We appreciate that, Pete. So first in the house is Springfield Public Day High School. Brody Simone, he's here. And I see with Principal Jen McQuaid also. Brody, come on down. Good evening.
I'm here today on behalf of Liberty Prep Academy, a Springfield public school, which is one of the 5 recovery high schools in Massachusetts. Liberty Prep Academy allows me and other students the opportunity to self-reflect on our struggles with addiction, learn coping and self-advocacy skills, while allowing us the chance to focus on our educational goals. At LPA, students like me are able to access grade-level curriculum, have movement break built into their schedule, and allowed spaces to decompress. Upstairs in the common room, there's a recording studio, keyboards, guitars, drums, and mind-engaging activities like chess. These opportunities and spaces go hand in hand with some of the other enrichment activities offered. At LPA, the Community School of Music comes in to teach us various ways of expressing our emotions and using our creativity through music. Another space we can access is the weight room, which allows students to use fitness equipment to clear the mind, release some energy, and feel better about themselves. We have access to a clinician for one-on-one and group sessions. Students can attend the after-school wellness program 3 times a week. During the wellness program, students have time to engage in physical fitness activities, create art and music, and be tutored by educators and have access to a counselor as needed. Along with the wellness program, during the week of April vacation, we had multiple activities set up. Throughout this week, we had things such as bowling, golfing, and even a trip to Sunny's place. These activities provided us all with something positive to do, opposed to engaging in other activities that could potentially harm ourselves or others. We have much more wellness trips and activities planned before the school year ends, and a new partnership with Patch to work on the community garden next to our school. All in all, Liberty Preparatory Academy opens the door to greater opportunities. It allows students who struggle with addiction a safe place to rebuild our self-confidence and learning in ourselves and in the recovery process. In less than a month, my parents, educators, and those who have helped me along this difficult journey will be able to see me and some of my classmates walk across the stage as high school graduates begin our next journey. I plan on going to community college back at home at Cape Cod Community College. I would like to give a huge thanks for this district for allowing this school to be possible, and I hope one day to see more recovery schools around the state. I would also like to thank everyone for giving me this opportunity to share tonight and express how much this school has helped me and others. Thank you.
Great job, Brody. Great job.
Mr. Mayor, I know we don't interact during public speak out, so I'm not going to speak directly to Brody, but it takes a lot of courage to stand up there and mention addiction. And I think that deserves
Thank you.
another.
I appreciate it. I would also like to invite you all to our luncheon on June 4th at 12 o'clock, right before our graduation. So I have flyers if anyone wants those. Sounds
Thank
great.
you, Brody. You're perfect. You're an outstanding example. I know we took a lot of heat when we put this school together some 14, 15 years ago. We didn't give up on you. You didn't give up on yourself. You did enough. Jen, you did a great, great job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job, Brody. Head, heart, and gut. Good job. Putnam's in the house, and our former student school committee member, Patient Naylor, is here. Allison Croto is on Zoom, and of course her mom is school committee woman Latonia Naylor. Patience, come on down.
Hi, everybody. Hi. I'm here on behalf of Putnam, speaking on behalf of Putnam and the Student Advisory Council, so thank you for having me today. As we are approaching the end of our time at Putnam, I can personally say it's a moment filled with mixed emotions. This time is bittersweet as we cherish the last days with our friends, our favorite teachers, and administrators in the building. This week marks our academic finals, which will be completed by this Friday, followed by being our vocational finals will be happening next week. Once these are behind us, our focus will shift to the final events, Class Day, prom, and graduation. It's an exciting day for all of us, and we are ready to walk across the stage. I am ready personally, and I am incredibly proud of my class. Despite the challenges we have faced over the years, from the disruptions caused by COVID to the shift to online learning and more, we have persevered, and it taught us a lot of life lessons. As we prepare to graduate, the friendships we've made and the memories we've shared will replay in our heads. For Putnam seniors, it's time to celebrate our achievements and look forward to bright futures ahead. Thank you for listening. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Patience. Nice job. Thank you. Renaissance is in the house. Principal Derek Wright is here. Brian Avila is here. Brian, come on down.
Hi, my name is Brian Avila, and I am speaking on behalf of Renaissance. Hello, School Committee, Mayor Sarno, and Superintendent Warwick. As an EL school, Renaissance fosters and encourages students to use their minds well. This can be seen in all aspects of our school, including me being here today, as well as notably our advocacy in wanting compostable trays and later actual composting, which is going great. Thanks to our advocacy, we were able to change a bad thing into something good. Even this week's Spirit Week was chosen by the voices in Student Council. One of our commonly used phrases is, "We are crew, not passengers." This saying means that we as a school are very close as a community and won't be swayed into following one thing unless we so choose to. At Renaissance, we have had classes graduating since 2010, and over time, we have developed a tradition of sitting upon the Hall of Symphony, the stage of Symphony Hall, something for lower classmen to look forward to. Sitting on a stage may not be the most special thing, but it is our thing. My sister graduated here last year and had the experience of looking forward and seeing all the people who have supported her in one place. Teachers, family, mentors, all there just for her. It was her only and final high school graduation, and I am afraid that this year's class will be forced to sit in the audience for no given reason, with no way to appeal that decision. Like my sister, this is their only and final high school graduation, and it deserves to be special because they worked hard to get where they are. This is a community decision which is being overridden. This body gathered here is meant to want the best for the community which you serve. And so I am asking, who is this change benefiting? Because I know that families, friends, mentors, role models, everyone wants to see the kid they supported for so many years on stage shining. They come and support our district, our school, not for the staff or out of obligation. The community comes and supports the kids and their minds. And this decision, in which the ones being affected have no say, goes completely against what we as a school have been taught. Advocacy and perseverance has been so encouraged by you guys here today. And this is why I'm here today as well, advocating for the reconsideration of not allowing Renaissance graduates to sit on the stage. When you think of this, please imagine your kids, your nephews, your nieces, your family being stripped of something as small and simple, yet momentous and impactful as sitting on a stage for their grand day, for their last goodbye as they enter the world as adults, preparing for life after school and for college. The ones gathering are not there to hear speech from grown adults. It's for the kids. Please don't take this tradition away from the class of 2024 and the classes following them, including my very own class of 2026. It is not right, and it hasn't happened yet. So please don't let it. And I thank you on behalf of everyone at Renaissance. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Virtual schools in the house. I don't see Lewis, though. He's like clockwork. Principal Lynch and Mr. Hamilton, he was our first, did a great job, too.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Superintendent, school committee members. Unfortunately, Lewis came down with a stomach bug today. He had every intention of being here. He did write a speech that he would ask us to share, and we would love to be able to share that on his
And
behalf.
Lewis, if you're watching, feel good, and hello to your parents. They never missed a meeting.
So
Never.
I'm going to turn it over
feel
to
good.
Senior Class Advisor, Mr. Hamilton.
Thank you, Principal Lynch.
Good
Mr.
evening. I
Hamilton?
will try my best to read Lewis's words. This first section from Lewis is entitled, My Gratitude. I would like to take the time to thank the mayor, the committee, Mr. Escribano, Ms. Wells, Ms. Lynch, Ms. Wiley, and Mr. Hamilton for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Springfield Virtual School. I am grateful for the opportunities that have been given to me and for helping me leave my shell. I've always been the distant, quiet type. I never wanted to speak out for help or to be acknowledged. Now that I have been given the fulfillment of speaking out and giving updates and expressing how I feel, I have turned into an individual, a student I wanted to be. Second part's called the Springfield Virtual School Acknowledgement. I want to acknowledge how far the Springfield Virtual School has come as a school in terms of the opportunities that are given to students. Teachers within the Springfield Virtual School have been a thrill and had a positive effect on the students and the school as a whole. The activities that have been given to the students have given us opportunities that we never expected. The Springfield Virtual School may be perceived as lacking in these areas, but the school provides nothing but extensive help and will reach out to you quickly when needed. The Springfield Virtual School has exceeded as a warm educational environment, and I hope you all perceive us as such.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. Thank you, Lewis. Feel good. Real good, Louis. Conservatory of the Arts is in the house. Mr. Soccer himself, Principal Ryan Kelly is here. Yanira LeBron, come on down. She's on
She's
Zoom.
on
I
Zoom.
apologize. Let me read my script here. Miss LeBron, you're on.
Hello. Okay. Hi, my name is Yanira. I am a 12th grade student at the Conservatory of the Arts. We've been very busy on our school for the last couple of weeks. Our middle schoolers will be finishing their last round of MCAS and math testing tomorrow. And our 8th and 10th graders are working hard to prepare to take their biology and math MCAS in these next few weeks. Our school is also very excited to share that we started a care closet at our school where students are able to pick up hygiene products and care products on Wednesdays during their advisory blocks. It's been really helpful for many of the students. Thank you for all those who put this together. Our Consortium of Dancers has been working hard and preparing for our spring showcase. Will take place on June 6th at 5 p.m. in the auditorium. We're excited to see all the work shown in our family and the community. Aside from that, our seniors are gearing up and getting excited for all our senior events, such as our senior trip to Brownstone and our senior prom and award ceremony. It's been such an incredible experience for me and so many other students at the Consortium of the Arts, and the relationships, bond, and lifelong friendships and connections I have personally made with the staff and students at the school. It's something I feel very blessed and very thankful for. And I just want to say that thank you, Mr. Mayor, and the school committee for welcoming me and Ms. Gilday to this committee, and it was a very pleasure being in this committee with y'all.
Our pleasure. Nice job in there. Thank you. Well, the high school science technology is in the house, and Principal Kevin Laneem's here, and our very own student representative, Janelle Vergara, is here. So the podium, actually, the mic is yours. Yeah. George, he's going to check it for you.
Okay. So with the school year coming to an end, SciTech has had many events, such as the GSA community, who will be showing their support to the LGBTQ plus youth community panel, with discussions aimed at empowering the LGBTQ youth and fostering a supportive environment. Alongside that, I'm volunteering at a transition fair for parents of children with special needs, where they can learn about opportunities and the steps involved with planning for life after high school. Alongside that, they'll be meeting with representatives from state agencies and many more community service programs such as employment and vocational trainings and day programs. Over 50 agencies will be attending, and I think it's very important, it's programs like these that I cannot stress enough are very important in the school system, where all students can feel like they belong and as if they are in a community that truly support them in all of their needs. All students deserve to be comfortable in a place where they spend a great amount of their time. I appreciate being able to be given these opportunities to advocate and discuss ways to make our schooling better, because our students are our future. I would also like to comment on being a senior and the stresses that it involves. Alongside that, as a senior, I'm getting ready for the college life. After being accepted to 6 colleges and deciding on my top 3, Suffolk Uni, Simmons Uni, and Salem State University, I'm excited to visit all of these colleges and make my decision to better prepare for my future in psychology. Thank you.
Nice job. Thank you. Last but not least, Central is in the house or via Zoom. Addison Neal and Principal Tad Tokars are on Zoom. Georgie, are they on? Addison Neal or Principal Tad Tokars from Central?
Addison, you there?
I'm right here. Sorry.
Oh,
All right.
there she is.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Addison Neal. I'm a junior from Springfield Central, and I'm a 3-year cadet with our AFJRTC program. I've also been involved with our drill teams for the past 3 years. Central's AFJRTC program has been around since 1966, whopping 58 years, and yet this year on April 27th, we went to the annual Southern New Jersey drill competition for the first time. Our program's drill teams have performed outstandingly and truly defied expectation. We had 3 first place finishes: first place in armed exhibition duels, and armed color guard. I was myself commander of this color guard. We had 3 perfect score sheets from 3 different judges, a first in Central AFGRTC's history. We also traveled to Dayton, Ohio for the Air Force JRTC Nationals in the middle of March this year, with a fourth place finish in armed exhibition and a second and fourth place armed duel. Just to give a little bit of inside information about our AFGRTC drill program, all our comp season, we have cadets who are called drill officers who handle all logistics and behind the scenes for each and every comp we go to. Of course, I could list all of what we do, but it's a ton. Trust me and take my word for it, as I am a drill officer myself. It is a lot of work with lots of benefits to it, and all drill officers absolutely love helping run our drill team and watch how it truly inspires and changes our cadets' lives. Next year, we're planning to not only go to the AFGRTC Nationals, not only the annual New Jersey comp, but also the huge JRTC all-service drill competition held in Washington, D.C., the biggest JRTC comp in the North. All these competitions would be a huge breakthrough for our program and let us represent Springfield and Central with our truly accomplishing hard work. For me and all the drill teamers at Central, we truly appreciate having even the opportunity to be allowed to go to these competitions and prove ourselves against schools across New England. It's a thrilling and amazing thing to be able to get onto the competition floor and perform, even if only for a minuscule amount of time. Show off our hours and hours of practice as a team. Thank you.
Great job, Addison. Thank you. Kim Wells, our lead chief officer here, is going to provide a special thank you to these outstanding students. Ms. Wells? Thank you, Ms. Wells. Thank you, Mr. Escribano.
I think Mr. Escribano and I have spent the last year with an amazing group of 7 students from our high schools who, when we met at the beginning, were very quiet and sort of reserved, and we watched them all grow substantially over the year. And it's been incredible to watch their self-advocacy skills build, to watch their passion for the work that's happening in their buildings occur, and for just watching them really want to get engaged and involved in civic responsibility. And so Mr. Escribano and I, alongside the mayor, the school committee, and the superintendent, just have some small gifts for our students. And if it's okay with you, I just want to share a passage from the book that's in one of their, that's in their gift package. It's a little lesson that when I purchased this book several years ago for my own children who are graduating, was something that it resonated with me and shared with them, and I'd like to share that with the students who either will be graduating and moving on or may potentially stay on with us moving forward, if that would be okay for a minute. Yes. So the book is called You're Only Just Beginning, and it's by Marjorie Harper Nichols, who's a well-known, prominent African-American author. And this book is about several vignettes about lessons from, and it's lessons from sunlight, lessons from the bees, lessons from guitars, and it's different vignettes that people just, it's about reflecting on your journey. And so this one is a passage that's from the section entitled Lesson from the Sun. It says, what we learn from sunlight. Every morning the sun rises, and every single day the sun rays take us on a journey. Hour by hour, as light moves across the sky, we experience the world in new color and shadow until the sun finally sets, only to start its journey again the following morning. Day by day, the sun brings forth new life. Even if it's just gentle sun rays pouring in through the nearest window, we know sunlight makes a difference in our lives. And with every sunrise, we are reminded that as long as we are here, under these glorious golden rays, there is more to our stories. Another day is dawning, and with every new morning, we are invited to step out into our futures with a sense of hope and adventure. So whenever you feel the heat of the sun's beams or notice her light dancing through the trees, may you remember this radiant truth. There is more to your story. There is more for you just up ahead, and no matter how much you've already seen in this life, light will continue to show up for you every day. Dare to keep your heart open. Let every beam of sunlight be a fresh reminder of this calling. New adventures await you. So on behalf of all of us, we're so very proud of the work that you're doing, and we wish you nothing but the best moving forward. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Wells. Thank you, Ms. Wells. Thank you, Mr. That concludes our student presentations. We'll take a 1-minute recess. You're more than welcome to stay, and we'll be right back. Thank you. Great job, students. George, you let me know. He's on, okay. Ready? We'll call the meeting to order. Good evening. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Ms. Monroe Naylor? Present. Mr. Collins?
Here.
Ms. Gresham?
Present.
Ms. Hurst?
Ms. Hurst is remote. She's via Zoom. She's a little under the weather. We hope you're feeling better, Denise, but she is on Zoom.
Present.
Ms. Hurst present. Attorney Murphy?
Present.
Attorney Murphy, again, is on remote Zoom. He's recovering well. Murph, good to hear you there.
Good to
Mr.
see you guys.
Gonzalez? Here. Mayor Sarno?
President, if we could all please rise for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very, very much. And to all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. And we're also joined by our student representative. She just presented, Janalee Vergara from High School of Science and Technology. Thank you again for being here. We'll now move to Section 2, approval of the minutes. Approve the minutes of the April 11th, 2024, April 25th, 2024 school committee meetings. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Gresham, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Collins. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Abstain.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Abstain.
Ms. Hurst?
No.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Abstain.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, I believe more than sufficient votes. I couldn't hear what Ms. Hurst had said.
I had a no.
I voted no, Mr. Mayor.
Voted no, Eric.
No.
Okay, there's not a sufficient amount of votes on it. This matter does not pass on the minutes. I don't know if there's Attorney Phelps a ruling on the minutes at all? Or are we taking it up at another time?
I didn't hear whether or not there was an abstention, or could you just repeat for me what the roll call was, please, Ms. McCarthy?
Sure. Ms. Monroe Naylor, abstain. Mr. Collins, yes. Ms. Gresham, abstain. Ms. Hurst, no. Attorney Murphy, yes. Mr. Gonzalez, abstained. Mayor Sarno, yes.
So
Less than sufficient amount.
if the abstention is due to the fact that the member was not present, that does not negate the ability to vote on minutes.
Okay.
Robert's Rules clearly says that even if you weren't at a meeting, you can still vote on approving the minutes because it's actually a vote on the accuracy of the secretary or the note taker. So I don't know if with that clarification, because I don't know the reasons for abstention, I don't know if anyone would change the vote.
If there isn't, it is a 3-to-1 majority vote then on approving the minutes.
There would have to be a majority vote to approve the minutes. So if there are not 4 votes to approve the minutes are just not approved.
All right, the minutes are not approved. Let's move on to the next agenda item. Voting items. A is to approve the Conservatory of the Arts field trip to Chelmsford, Mass., May 10th, 2024, returning on May 11th, 2024. Superintendent Ward, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Ryan Kelly is here, and Marcos Carreros was going to present also. He's on Zoom. Okay.
Okay.
Do you want him to take it, Ryan?
Thank you. Mr. Carreras would explain it better, but our choir is in a singing contest, and students will be returning after 10 p.m., and that's why we need school committee approval. But if you put Mr. Carreras on, he'll
Sure.
explain the importance of this contest.
Marcos?
Hi, everybody. So the Advanced Vocals Group, which you know has been competing at regional a cappella competitions, and so they finished 4th at Connecticut and 6 out of 32 for the Northeast. And so that Friday night is our opportunity to be a part of a showcase featuring the top 6 groups, including the national representatives who won the region at their high school, and they select the top 10 choirs from the Northeast to be featured on this live event, which is really exciting for us to be the first time invited to represent Western Mass at this event. And so it would be an incredible opportunity to represent the great city and our school at this live concert. So we're hoping that we will be allowed to do that.
Thank you, Marcos. Thank you, Mr. Carreras. Any questions or comments? Miss Taylor?
I just want to say that I went to the Little Shop of Horrors with my goddaughters and the singing and everything, and I asked them, I said, how did you enjoy? They said, we love the singing. So I'm so happy that they get a chance to go out of town and get to do this again, and I hope that they win. And so, yes, I just wanted to say, keep up the good work. The students are doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Taylor, is there a second? Second by Vice Chair Gonzalez. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient vote, this matter passes. Good luck and go get them, Marcos.
Thank you.
B is approve the new high school curriculum for Study Sync by McGraw-Hill. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Our ELA Director, Brian Dickey, is on Zoom here to go over this curriculum with you. This is a recommendation for us moving forward to use Study Sync in our high schools, which is rated as a high-quality program. And Brian will go over all the reasons for that recommendation with you.
Thank you, Superintendent Ward. Thank you for having me, everyone. I'm going to take a few minutes to just share with you some slides that I know you have, and I'm hoping you can all see my slides at this point. So I'm sorry. Can folks see the slides?
Can you share again, please?
Oh, sure. Let's see.
Yes. Thanks.
So now can you see it?
Not yet.
Not yet. Huh. Is someone giving me permission to share?
George, is permission to share being given? Focus. Permission to share has been given. Thank you, Focus Springfield. Thank you, George.
Okay, let's try it one more time.
If not, we can go verbally, because we have the presentation.
Sure. How about now?
No go.
Brian, there's no problem because they have the presentation in the package,
So why don't you walk us through it, and we can follow along with a presentation in the back.
Thank you, Brian.
Sure thing. Sure thing. We are excited to, in the ELA department, share with you our vetting and researching and choosing the high school curriculum for English language arts, which we chose McGraw-Hill Study Sync. As you know, last year you approved our middle school curriculum, which was also McGraw-Hill Study Sync. And I will just quickly go over the selection process with you. We selected a diverse team of educators with attention to race, role, gender, years of service. We included ILSs, administrators, librarians, chairs. And so I assembled that team, and then we also did a mini pilot in both Central High School and Putnam High School, where several teachers in each high school used demo accounts and taught the students over the last couple of months using the demo accounts, using the resources and the lessons to really positive raves and results. So that's great. And then we also, in April, mid-April, I think it was the 23rd, I worked with Jose Escribano and his team in family and community engagement, and had a night where folks could come in and see the curriculum as well. Again, lots of great questions and 2 positive reviews as well. So that was the selection process. We started thinking, what's the most important thing for us? And that really was making sure that our population of students was represented both in authorship and in characters, so that we have that DEI right in the forefront. And we made sure that it was supportive of all learners, especially our MLL population and our special ed population as well. We wanted both print and digital. A lot of these curriculums are now just strictly digital, and we really wanted to make sure that the kids had the love of holding a book in their hand. We wanted to make sure that it had social emotional learning attached to it, and that it had some sort of a current world view, and that it was highly engaging, because from where I sit, if you have no engagement, you have nothing in the classroom. So we started using the National Organization of Ed Reports, as well as the Massachusetts Organization of Curate, which really does a lot of the work for us. It vets and researches, and we chose 6 different curriculums that met all the criteria. Basically, all were green lit across the board. So we started with those only. There were about 6. Then we called up all those vendors and got either demo accounts or materials to start looking at. We met bi-monthly and really discussed the strengths and challenges of each, and then whittled it down to 3 particular products with the highest ratings and the highest strengths. They were Study Sync by McGraw-Hill, My Perspectives by Savas, and I forget the last one. Anyway, doesn't matter. We didn't choose it. So then we offered those vendors to come in and Inquiry by Design. Sorry, Inquiry by Design was the last one. We asked the vendors to come in, and we gave them 1 hour with our team. And the question was, why should we choose you? And then we rated those products and that curriculum on a rubric. And then we had a blind vote, and 100% of the team voted unanimously for Study Sync, which was exciting and yes, and a little easier for sure. The rubric, the big long rubric, about 25 different elements, but the 4 big buckets were text quality, organization, the tasks and instruction, basically, the accessibility for students and the usability for teachers. That's how we rated it. Everybody did that on their own that were part of the team, came back, and that's how we rated it and voted for the Study Sync. One of the big things in my world and in our world now with DEI is really making sure that our kids are represented. So we've used this for the past couple of years from Dr. Sims Bishop, and it's an analogy where children need the mirrors, windows, sliding glass doors, basically mirrors to make sure that they are reflective of themselves, seeing that the characters are like them. Windows to see how other people live, and then those sliding glass doors to live those vicarious experiences so that they have a broader worldview. And Study Sync really did that. It had the most diverse table of contents among all the options that we saw. And so we were very excited about that. I could probably spend 2 hours telling you all the bells and whistles and the technology that this particular curriculum has, but suffice to say that this curriculum differentiates for every student in every population that we have. Everything from the languages, all the multiple languages that they have. It meets all the MLL students at all 4 levels. It has just tech tools and scaffolding and annotation tools and audio recordings, and kids can do so much to help them access text. It's pretty incredible. Closed captioning, there's a plagiarism checker. And then a really important thing is that we do have that homeschool connection, because all the parents and guardians have access to this curriculum and the programming, the digital part of it at least, and can certainly help with educating their children as well. And then lastly, in 27 years I've been in this district, and I've worked with a lot of vendors. And I will tell you, rolling this particular McGraw-Hill Study Sync out for the middle school this year, it's been the best experience in 27 years of any vendor. They are second to none when it comes to customer service. And that includes, if there's a tech issue, fixed within an hour or two. If there's a customized PD that a school would needs, they are on it. 2 of our reps live, one in Agawam and one in West Springfield, and I think that really helps because they come morning, noon, and night and will help us. And I know that will continue into the high school curriculum, and we are just very, very excited to have that, because I didn't know if this was going to happen. I knew we had Study Sync for 6 through 8, but I knew we had to choose one 9 through 12. I didn't know if it was going to be Study Sync. So glad it is that now that we have that through line, that cohesive alignment that students will have now in ELA 6 through 12 in this district. And I hope that you will support us in this endeavor. So thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions or comments? Ms. Gresham, please.
Thank you, Brian, for this great presentation. My question is, was student involved in the selection process?
Correct. We had we had mini pilots in both Central and Putnam, and the teachers, of course, a lot of teachers have been at this a long time, and a lot of people were naysayers right from the beginning, like we don't want a new curriculum, and what are you doing to me? I have all my stuff. And so we went with trying to get the buy-in from some of the toughest teachers, introduced it in a very soft launch way, and some of our curriculum that we have now coincided with some of the curriculum that is in Study Sync, some of the resources, I should say, in text. So they were able to access those, and then through the demo account, use them with the students to get that feeling. Does it work? Is the interface good? Is it easy enough for students? And again, all across the board, positive. So, and then at the community event with the family community engagement event, there was some student voice. And one of the things that stood out to me was the student said, she said, I really like this because now my portfolio will travel with me. She was a 9th grader, from 9th through 12th, and that will really help me with my high school transcripts for college. So I thought that was great as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gresham. Any other questions or comments? Yes, Ms. Naylor.
This one is that it says on the page around differentiation to elevate all students, it talks about the different languages that are available. It says supplemental languages. Does that mean that it can be translated completely into these languages, or what does that look like?
Correct. Yeah. So if they're reading of Mice and Men, they have the option, the teacher has the option, the student has the option of putting it into their native language. And it will come up like that. It can be read in their native language. It can be read in their native language while English is still on the page. There's a lot of different ways to do it. And that's what's so great about it, because the scaffolding and the differentiation is so amazing there. But yeah, there's lots of different ways to do it in any native language that they have listed.
Thank you, that's wonderful. And my last question is, it talks about the embedded plagiarism checker. Does that include AI?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure. When you say, does it include AI, like it would go through AI?
Yeah, well, you know how you can just say, create a page for me that is based on my submission that talks about XYZ, and then AI can just create a 6-page paper for you?
Oh, okay. So I'm hoping that, yes, the plagiarism checker does that, but I honestly, I don't know if that's, it's got to be. It's, because how else would they do a plagiarism checker if they couldn't be able to, if they weren't able to type in the first couple of words to make sure that it wasn't AI, like ChatGPT or something like that.
Right.
Pretty sure that they use that. It's a good question, and I can certainly investigate it more and get back to you, but I don't know specifically how the plagiarism checker works.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Any other questions or comments?
Mayor, it's been through
Mr.
the
Mayor.
Ward.
program subcommittee. I didn't know if Denise wanted to comment.
Ms. Hurst,
Thank you.
would you like to comment?
Thank you, Superintendent. I was actually just going to add that it did come through subcommittee and it passed unanimously.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Gresham, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Naylor. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
That didn't sound like him.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient vote, this matter passes. Thank you. C is to approve an expenditure of $150,000 from the Mass Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, acronym DESE, for the FY24 Early Literacy Consortium Grant. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Laura Menz is on to present on this.
Thank you, Superintendent. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and School Committee. As I told the subcommittee last week, this is probably one of the more gratifying and rewarding grants I come before you requesting approval of. Rewarding and gratifying, I'm going to toot our horns a little bit. Last summer, we created a program with Elms College, AIC, Westfield, and Bay Path to have some students work in our schools over the summer, providing literacy interventions. And the program was so successful, and I really have to thank President Dumais from Our Lady of Elms and Superintendent Warwick for planting the seeds for this project. The program was so successful that DESE actually created this grant modeled after our work. And so when we applied for this grant, what we're requesting funds for is to continue this collaboration, which required us to bring in another district. So we're bringing in East Longmeadow Public Schools. And we're going to use these funds to purchase curriculums that the colleges, ourselves, and the college students can use to provide interventions and learn more about literacy instruction. It's a very exciting program, and I thank you for listening.
Thank you, Laura. Any questions or comments? Thank you for all your efforts.
Mayor, this has been through Budget and Finance. I don't know if they want to speak to it.
Mr. Kyle?
It did get a unanimous support. We're glad to see it working with our local colleges because that's where we draw most of our teachers from.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, is the motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Collins, or second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gresham. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Monroe-Naylor?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez? Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient vote, this matter passes. Thank you very much. We'll now move to informational and discussion items. And A is Zanetti Montessori School Update. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a report prepared for you. There's a piece in your packet on it from Zanetti Montessori School. Principal Clark is here. Tremendous results over the years. Criterion reference target percentage this year, 55%, substantial progress towards goals. The average in the state was only 36%, so significantly above the state. In ELA, the scaled score was 502.7, again above the state average, and 53% student growth. Math, 498.4, 50.9% student growth, and science, 499.9. So outstanding scores on MCAS across the board, and a very well-run school, and very, very proud of what they've done. So I'll turn it over to Principal Clark and her team.
Thank you, Superintendent Warwick.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I have on Assistant Principal Lubis, a few members of my team. We have created with our ILT and our organizational leadership team, we created a presentation tonight as a way to illustrate our pathway for improving achievement every year. So I'm going to just share our little presentation with you, and then afterwards, if you have any questions, we're more than willing to answer them. So I'll turn it over to Ms. Locoper, our member of our team.
Thank you, Principal Clark.
Good evening. I am Tara Christian Clark, the proud principal of Zanetti. In this presentation, created by our instructional leadership team, we will explore how our staff and students uphold academic rigor, which consists of 3 essential elements: creating a challenging learning environment, offering support to aid in students' educational endeavors, and ensuring that each student demonstrates mastery at an elevated level of learning. This commitment to academic rigor is reflected in the remarkable 2023 MCAS scores achieved by our school. A sense of belonging is essential within a school community, and at Zanetti, students feel connected to their peers, teachers, and the broader school environment, which are reflected in our MCAS scores. Sit back and enjoy the presentation. Zanetti educators empower students to show measurable growth in all subject areas. Our school is committed to research-based best practices and culturally responsive, rigorous standard-based instruction. When you know it, you show it.
My name is Angela Jones, and I've been a student at Zanetti School since preschool, currently in the 8th grade. School has influenced my academic journey from my earliest days in preschool. The teachers made math engaging and easy to understand, sparking my love for the subject. In middle school, I was honored to be selected for the Bootstrap Algebra program, where I learned math through coding, further enhancing my skills and passion for the subject. During elementary school, Miss Frankie, 4th and 5th teacher, made a profound impact on my learning. She was understanding and tailored her approach to meet my individual needs, fostering a supportive environment. Engaging in after-school sports has also played a crucial role in my development. Through sports, I learned valuable time management skills and applied the lessons learned on the volleyball court to my academics. Looking ahead, I aspire to attend Putnam High School to pursue a nursing degree in the future.
Hi everyone, I'm Jair Charles, and I've been pretty much growing up here at our awesome school, Zanetti. I've been here since preschool. Now I'm in 8th grade, and man, time flies. There are so many cool memories I have from time here. Like, I remember when we got to team up with other classes for projects. Making snacks for Miss Ryan's room and children's house was always fun. And the time we got to witness the whole life cycle of a butterfly and then set it free in the courtyard, that was cool. Math has always been my favorite subject, and Zanetti has made it even more fun. Numbers just click for me here. And hey, let's talk about how that epic field trip to UMass. And don't even get me started on the food at the dining common. It's like a foodie paradise. But what really makes Zanetti special? The teachers, seriously. They've been like family, always to support me, and I know everything I learned here is going to be super helpful when I move on to Duggan. Oh, and basketball, I got into that in 7th grade, and it's been a game changer. It's what gets me pumped up to go to school every day and hanging out with my team, learning about teamwork and hard work. And guess what? I'm totally excited to play in sport when I get to Duggan. So yeah, Zanetti has been the best ride ever, and I can't wait to see what's next at Duggan. Thanks for listening, y'all.
Our MCAS data is reflective of years of collaborative work here at Zanetti.
Many students start their educational journey in the Montessori Children's House at 3 years old and finish their Zanetti career in 8th grade. For the past 2 years, our entire staff of educators analyzed our preliminary MCAS data in August, including reading our students' writing, which is a school-wide focus. Our data shown here highlights that in ELA, math, and science, our students surpassed the statewide average scaled scores. Throughout this presentation, you will see how we raise academic rigor to meet the expectations of the MCAS tests.
Zanetti has prioritized student growth in iReady over the past 2 years. Educators consistently conduct data chats with students before and after assessments to help students reach their typical and stretch growth goals. Zanetti's iReady data from the middle of the year diagnostics shows that we are on target for all students meeting their typical growth in both ELA and math by the end of the year. The median percent progress towards typical growth in ELA is 80% and 57% in math. Overall, our students have met at least 50% of their growth goal as shown by their performance on the middle of the year diagnostic, which puts them on target to reaching 100% of their goal by the end of this year.
At Zanetti, we engage our students in rigorous Tier 1 instruction through the use of district-approved, high-quality instructional materials such as collaborative literacy, iReady Classroom, Student Sync, and illustrative math. Our educators analyze data from these curricular assessments, reteach needed skills, and provide students with constructive feedback. In math, we focus on the prerequisite skills to address learning gaps and analyze the diagnostic data to create small groups. In ELA, our classroom and intervention teachers have been instructing with SIPs as a Tier 1, 2, and 3 intervention since 2021. We have a team of intervention teachers who provide small group instruction to accelerate student growth in math and ELA. Our interventionists analyze the data through weekly assessments, observations, and iReady data to target the unlearned skill.
Zanetti offers 6 unique specials, including Spanish, physical education, band, general music, visual art, and digital literacy and computer science. Students see their specialists on a weekly rotation. Seeing the same specialist for a consistent period allows us to dive deeper into topics. Switching specials weekly keeps an engaging pace for everyone. All students have the opportunity to move, create, build, and express who they are. It is important to us at Zanetti that our students are well-rounded thinkers, and the wide range of specials offered reflects this.
Our DLCS program is transforming education by fostering problem-solving skills, collaboration, logical thinking, and creativity. We integrate digital literacy and computer science into many other subjects through teacher collaboration, PLC time, and EdTech lunches. Students will have technology as a special to dive deeper into their learning. Digital literacy and computer science is not only in the classroom. Every morning, students tune into our Flip mixtape for announcements, run by the students themselves, and throughout the day, students are using numerous EdTech tools such as Edpuzzle, Schoology, Newsela, and many others to support their academic learning. We engage families through Computer Science Night and invite local community members to share their CS careers with other students. Recently, our coding club with 17 girls and 5 boys showcased their robotic projects at the Massachusetts State House to promote CS education. Here at Zanetti, we're not just teaching coding, we're nurturing innovators and leaders of tomorrow.
Meet our student support staff at Zanetti, consisting of adjustment counselors, a City Connects coordinator, behavioral and student support specialists. To further build strong relationships with our students and their families, every member of this department serves after school as a coach or club leader in some capacity. Beginning in Children's House, the Montessori principles of grace and courtesy establish a social and emotional foundation for our students. Students respecting themselves first, and then in turn showing respect and consideration towards their peers and community is pivotal. We carry on the spirit of Montessori learning by facilitating mentoring relationships with our older and younger classrooms. We also explicitly teach social and emotional lessons, as well as bullying prevention in all grades. A host of other supports are in place to meet all students where they are and support our school community's diverse needs.
At Zanetti, we have consistent, clear, posted expectations around scholar behavior with our school-wide matrix. We promote and remind of the ROAR matrix in our morning broadcast with our weekly PBIS announcements and at our school-wide assemblies. We also use buddy classrooms with upper and lower grades for student collaboration with examples such as presentations, group activities, and buddy reading. Monthly Tiger of the Month assemblies promote community and collaboration of students who consistently meet our school-wide expectations or have made improvements. Each assembly is tied to a dress down day, such as Dress Like a Character Day. We also utilize the check-in, check-out Tier 2 support system for students who need Core Plus More social emotional support from a mentor.
Students in grades 3 to 8 are offered the opportunity to stay after school and get enrichment and tutoring. We use iReady diagnostic data to select students who could benefit from this opportunity in both ELA and math. The iReady application is also used to identify students in instructional groups who could benefit from prerequisite and extension activities that give them the hands-on opportunity to collaborate with their peers and teachers.
At Zanetti, our after-school programs are diverse and tailored to student interests. From coding clubs to sports teams, we offer an array of opportunities aimed at fostering crucial life skills like teamwork, communication, and critical thinking. Our programs not only enhance academic performance, but also alleviate stress and anxiety, contributing to the overall student well-being.
Multiple subjects are taught in our summer program. ARC is used as an ELA curriculum to teach students informational texts and give them real-life opportunities to work with texts. For math, we're using Math for Love to provide our students with game-based math activities that make learning fun and engaging. iReady is also used daily to provide students with individualized lessons. For students who receive SIPS lessons, they receive this instruction daily and this support so they can grow in ELA.
Zanetti, along with the district, has prioritized providing high-quality professional development with a range of programs to enhance teaching and learning. Over the last year, we have prioritized differentiated instruction and co-teaching during school-based PD and extended days for all teachers. 6 staff members trained in restorative practices with Suffolk University, and these staff members included the administrative team, school adjustment counselors, and behavior support staff. We also trained 7 staff members in LETTERS, which is the language essentials for teachers of reading and spelling, and those educators included the administrative team, first grade team, and intervention teachers. These programs exemplify our commitment to continuous improvement and ensuring that our educators have the necessary tools and knowledge to support student success.
Throughout the year, Zanetti hosts a variety of family engagement nights, each designed to foster connections and support student learning, from Math Night to CS Ed Night and our annual open house. We offer diverse opportunities for families to actively participate in their child's education. Our Family Math Night promotes numeracy skills, while CS for All encourages exploration in computer science. Additionally, our PTO events such as Bingo for Books and Trunk and Treat offer fun-filled evenings where families can come together, support student learning, and strengthen our community bonds.
We extend our heartfelt gratitude to the school committee for acknowledging our exceptional accomplishments with a special thank you to the Zanetti community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tara, Principal Clark, and team. You've done an outstanding job there for a number of years, and I'll turn it over to school committee members if you have any questions or comments. And Superintendent Warwick. They used to be my neighbor at my old South End Community Center. They did their recreation.
That's right, when
in
they
my
were
gym area, and they
down,
used my
when they were
computer
down
lab.
at Howard Street School.
Street, yeah.
But I think just credit to Tara and her staff, just absolutely incredible job over the years.
Thank you.
Tremendous.
Yeah,
Congratulations on
they
your
have had a
retirement.
habit of performing yearly, and that is great. This was an interesting approach. It took, by doing the tape, it took the nervousness of talking out of it, and it was very clear, very well done. I thought it was a nice report.
And the students did a great job, too.
Yeah, fabulous.
Any other questions or comments?
Mayor, could I say something?
Thank you. We'll now move.
Mayor.
Oh, Murph, I'm sorry, Peter. Yeah, Peter's kids went.
Can you hear me
Attorney
okay?
Murphy, yes, Attorney Murphy, go ahead.
I just wanted to also thank Tara and her team. A lot of people don't recall that when Tara first took over at Zanetti, it was put into level 4. And so not only has she brought it out of level 4, but really it's one of the best performing schools in the district. And on a personal level, all of my children went there. They had a really fantastic experience with great instruction and discipline at Zanetti, and sports and all the things that the kids and the teachers and instructors talked about. And they did remarkably well, I mean, academically, as they went on to college. And my youngest is at Putnam, and he's doing very well academically. So they really couldn't have done it without the Tara and her team at Zanetti. And I think on behalf of the school committee, we're very thankful for that, Tara. And I'm personally am very grateful for the hard work that you do there every day for our kids.
Thank you,
So
Mr.
thank you.
Murphy.
Thank you, Attorney Murphy.
Thank you very
Any
much.
other questions or
Have a nice
comments?
night.
Will Clark and team again. We'll
Great
move
job, Tara and
to,
Zanetti team.
we'll move to B, graduation and dropout rates. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. As you know, every year, the graduation dropout figures come out of the state, and they take until, usually February, March, April, and this year it was the latest it's ever come out, but the report is assembled for you. Elise Bernice from our research department will walk you through the good news in this report, but I'll turn it over to Elise.
Good evening, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great. As the superintendent mentioned, the state released the graduation and dropout rates for last school year a couple weeks ago. So we're just going to walk through what those updates are and how they fit into trends over the past few years. So starting off, we have the 4-year graduation rate. Starting off from 2012 up through 2023, we're showing the trends, and we've aggregated the numbers in a few different ways. So I'm just going to quickly describe what all these colors represent. The light blue line represents the district overall. Green represents the district excluding ZEP schools. The teal blue line represents the district excluding ZEP and our alternatives. The dark blue is just the ZEP schools, and finally the red is the state. Obviously, right off the bat, you can see some very dramatic increases from 2012 through 2023 in all the different areas. I will note there was a slight decrease from 22 to 23, and likely that is due to the fact that during COVID, DESE allowed students to meet the competency determination through a modified CD, so they were not required to pass MCAS for those years, but that was removed in 23, so the graduating class did have to pass both the ELA and math MCAS. And so we see a very slight decrease for the district rates and the state overall. But that said, we can see that that district no ZEP, no ALT number did increase from 22 to 23 and exceeded the state fairly considerably in 2023. Next, we have the 5-year graduation rate. So again, the percent of students who graduated from high school within 5 years. The trend looks very similar, very drastic increases from 2012 to 2022. And again, we see that rate that excludes the ZEP and alternative schools, it does exceed the state rate for the most recent year we have data. Next, we have the 5-year extended engagement rates. This is the percent of students who either graduated or were still enrolled at the end of 5 years of high school. So very, very similar to our 5-year graduation rate, but with a few more students added in who were still enrolled and still working towards their diplomas. And again, the trends looking very similar as we saw in the previous chart. Next, we have the dropout rates. So in this case, obviously, we see drastic decreases from 2012 to 2023. As you may recall, because we do see this pretty dramatic dip in 21, that is likely due to underreporting of dropouts during the year we were remote, just due to some uncertainty during that remote learning. So some of those dropouts were actually reported the following year. So the 22 and 23 rates are a little bit more reflective of reality. And we see that it stayed pretty consistent from 22 to 23. And in fact, again, the district rate that excludes ZEP and the alternatives is in fact below the state rate in 2023. The next few tables break out the same data, but this time we see it by school for each of our high schools from 2012 to 2023. And if we look at that 2023 column, and I just draw your attention to our 5 comprehensive high schools, Central, Conservatory, Putnam, Renaissance, Sci-Tech, we see that in fact, even with the loss of the modified CD, the majority of those high schools actually increased from 22 to 23. And in fact, they're all well above 90 and above the state rate for their 4-year graduation rate. And obviously also we see very, very drastic increases from 2012, notably Sci-Tech, as we mentioned in previous presentations. They went from 39.9 to 93.7, an increase of 53.8 percentage points over that time period. Next, we have same table, this time for the 5-year graduation rates. Again, very similar trends. Those 5 comprehensive high schools, all well above 90 and all exceeding the state rate of 91.9. And the 5-year extended engagement rate, again, very similar to the 5-year graduation rate, but also including students who were still enrolled at the end of 5 years. Dropout rates, again, drastic improvement from 2012. We see that the district overall increased by 0.1. Some of our high schools increased a little bit, some of them decreased. But again, if we look at Central, Conservatory, Putnam, Renaissance, and Sci-Tech in particular, all of their dropout rates are below the state's dropout rate of 2.1. And overall, from 2012, very, very significant decreases. Next, we're just going to look at all of these metrics by subgroup and how the district rates compare to the state rates within each of those groups. So I'm just going to quickly describe what we're looking at in these charts. The blue bars each represent the district rates excluding ZEP, with the darker blue representing 2012, the lighter blue representing 2023. The orange bars are for the district excluding ZEP and our alternative schools. Again, the darker bar is for 2012 and the lighter bar is for 2023. And the black dot is for the state rate in 2023. So in addition to, again, those dramatic increases from 2012 to 23 that we see in each of the sets of bars, we can also see that the district rate excluding the ZEP schools exceeds the state rate for our African American students, Hispanic students, EL students, and low-income students. And when we exclude the alternative schools, in each category, the district well exceeds the state rate for all of those subgroup categories for the 4-year graduation rate. We see a similar story for the 5-year graduation rate. In this case, when the district rate excluding ZEP either exceeds or comes very close to the state rate for each subgroup. And again, when we exclude the alternative schools as well, the rates far exceed those of the state in each of the subgroups that you see here. 5-year extended engagement rate, again, very similar trend across each of the subgroups with dramatic increases from 2012 and coming close to or exceeding the state for the district, excluding ZEP, and always exceeding the state when we exclude the alternatives as well. And finally, the dropout rates, the same thing, just in the reverse. When we look at the district rate excluding ZEP, again, that light blue bar, we see that for African American students, Hispanic students, EL students, the rate is below that of the state. Our low-income students, the rate is the same. And when we exclude the alternatives, again, the rates are far below that of the state for each group. And finally, we also wanted to just give a little more context by looking at some comparison districts. So we have the rates for Chelsea, Fall River, Holyoke, Lawrence, New Bedford, and Southbridge, which all have similarly high low-income percentages. But as you can see, when compared to these districts, the district rate overall exceeds the 4-year graduation rate for all of our comparison districts. The same is true for the 5-year rate, again, exceeding each of the comparison districts with an 86.2 for both SBS and SPS, excluding ZEP. And again, the same exact thing for the 5-year extended engagement rate at district overall, exceeding each of the comparison districts in this category. And when we look at the dropout rate, we see that we are second only to Lawrence, who had a dropout rate of 3.3. The district was 4.0. But again, when we exclude the impairment zone and alternative schools, the rate becomes 1.7, which is far below that of all of the comparison districts. So as you've seen, especially in those trend charts, some very dramatic changes from 2012 to the most recent year. And in fact, in each of those different metrics, they were the largest improvements of any non-charter district in the state of Massachusetts since 2012. Does anybody have any questions? That's all we have for.
Thank you, Elise. Any questions or comments? And again, tremendous gains have been made in the last dozen years or so under the tutelage and leadership of Superintendent Warwick and team. So commend you and the administration and the school committee for the efforts, and those gains are higher than the state averages too. Any other questions or comments?
I have a clarifying question,
Yes,
Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Naylor?
What year did we start with ZEP?
We started in 14, but I think the data wouldn't be till 15.
Okay. So the reason why I asked that question is that in the report on dropout rates, it says, and there was a couple of slides that talked about in 2012, district no ZEP, and then it compares it to now, but at that time, those schools would have still been part of the district. So I'm confused as to why it says district no ZEP for 2012. And
Just so we could have a similar comparison, so the schools that were ZEP wouldn't have been counted in that. So you'd be comparing apples to apples.
all right, so those schools that are in the ZEP now were not included in the numbers that are
Just so
reported
you'd
for
be
2012.
Comparing apples to apples, yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you for that clarification.
Thank
That's
you.
the only question I had.
Thank you, Ms. Naylor. Any questions or comments? Okay, Elise, thank you. We'll now move to...
Thanks, Elise.
We'll now move to a C Internships Career Pathways update. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. We've had tremendous progress in our internship and career pathway program under Pam Matheson's leadership, working with Kim Wells. They're going to make a presentation to you now of all the opportunities that they've offered to our students. So, Pam and Kim.
Yeah, I did share. It's not sharing. I'll try it again. I'll try it one more time. If you want to. Okay.
George from Focus Springfield is going to come up and just double check it. Thank you, George. Oh, there, hey, the magic touch. Way to go, George. Thank you, George.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So this is our second time coming before you to talk about our work that's been occurring around our school to career connecting activities, work-based learning plans, and our innovation career pathways and summer employment and internship opportunities. But so you can see that those are the items that we will cover on our agenda this evening. But before we get into that, I just want to take the opportunity to thank the members of central office, the leaders and the educators in all of our schools who've been working tirelessly on this work in elevating the work of the Portrait of the Grad, which has been about applied learning experiences for students. We've really been able to take off in these specific areas, and we're really proud of the work that's been going on and the work that will continue to go on moving forward. So I just want to shout out to everybody because it's been really difficult and challenging work, but it's been well worth it. So, you know, thanks to everybody at every level. Yeah, I got it. It's not working. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we're just going to talk a little bit first about our school to career connecting activities, grants, and work-based learning programs. And so the goals in our connecting activities grant this year have been to increase student readiness, increase career development with subject matter expertise within the school to career teams, and increasing our work-based learning plans for our students. And so we established outcomes in conjunction with the state this year. And those outcomes you can see are on the right. So for the first year, we've been able to develop a strategic plan for outlining how we were going to provide the connecting activities grants and the work-based learning activities to students. And that was a strategic plan that was worked on both with Pam and with her career readiness counselors throughout all of the schools. As we mentioned last year and continues again this year, we have 9 career readiness counselors at each of our schools. Different from last year, the majority of those were full-time positions. This year, the majority of those were part-time positions. This year, 4 career readiness counselors have been made full-time and are focusing specifically on that within each of the schools. So we're really excited about that because it's been able to allow us to have a particular individual dedicated to really focusing in on that work. In comparison to last year when we met with you around Q3, we've seen a 43% increase in the number of students being placed out on internships and career readiness activities with work-based learning programs. Our goal for this year through the Connecting Activities Grant is 400 students. At the end of Q3, we had already placed 329, and as of today, we're up to almost 370. So we are more than on track to meet our goal and are really excited about some of the placements that our students have been put in. There has been a lot of work this year as well around forging partnerships with industries. So the partnerships you can see that we formed, and just to name a few, are the Springfield Water and Sewer Commission, Disney Theater, which is the first partnership that Disney has had with any district, and it was incredible, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Broadway in Boston, Rodman for Kids, and others, and those companies came forth and not only invested their time, but invested their personnel and their own capacity in really working with our kids. And as we go further into the presentation, you'll see some really great opportunities that our students have had the ability to participate in. So, we're continuing to look forward to working with these individual industry partners and then continuing to grow those moving forward. We've also just completed our second district-wide career and internship fair, which was held a couple weeks ago over at the Mass Mutual Center. This year, we are excited to have more than 2 times the number of students participate in that fair as compared to last year. And we increased the number of colleges, businesses, and industries who presented at this fair and participated in that fair by over 58%. And we partnered with Hope for Youth and Families on that because we're really trying to continue to invest and get our outside partners and businesses and community collaborators involved in this process. And so it was really incredible. We had students from every high school attend. They had the ability to meet with industry partners to identify areas they might be interested in looking forward to moving ahead with, either in terms of college or career. And then they spent the afternoon and the mornings really working with them and figuring out what's next. So that was a really great activity that we'll continue to do moving forward. The next page that you can see is just an example of the work-based learning plans that our students are involved in by industry type. So of the 329 students who are currently out on internship and work-based learning opportunities, 75% of those are internship placements for students not involved in co-op at Putnam. The other 25% of those students, those are the internship and industry placements for the co-op students and the CVTE students. So you can see just by looking at it, the variety of different industry clusters that are taking place. We've got students out in art and communication, construction, education, environmental and natural sciences, human services, healthcare. The very bottom, you're going to see something that says TBA, which probably will make you wonder what that is. That is, TBA is that the work-based learning reporting system that we have where we enter where students are. They have yet to determine which cluster of industry they think that that fits into because it might overlap in certain areas. So they will work on cleaning that information up and then place those work-based learning students into those particular industry clusters. Any questions on that? Okay, so some of the school connecting activities and work-based learning highlights throughout the year. Last year, we completed during the summer our first internship program with the Springfield Water and Sewer Pipeline. 12 of our students participated in an 8-week paid summer internship program where they worked through a rotational program and invested time in learning in all of the different rotations within the Springfield Water and Sewer program, whether it was the watershed, wastewater treatment plant, looking at the quality of water testing, the IT department, the electrical department. All of our kids rotated through those different departments and participated in learning and the trade and learning about the potential pathway for career and industry within those 8 weeks. Our students also participated in professional development and engaged in a water operations course, which was ongoing learning that was in the classroom environment, which then provided them with the opportunity to get prepared to potentially take the certification exam that's offered through the Springfield Water and Sewer program. And as a result of the great work that happened through the Springfield Water and Sewer Training Pipeline Program, this year we actually have one student who is part-time on payroll at the Springfield Water and Sewer placement for a 1-year placement to continue his internship opportunities and make some decisions upon graduation if that's a career pathway that he's interested in participating in. So it was a really exciting program. We were able to see the students in action, visit them out at the reservoir, visit them, as within the actual Springfield Water and Sewer Commission. It culminated with this really great event in the summer where members of the city, members of the school department, members of the Springfield Water and Sewer Commission met with the students and their families, and just anecdotally listening to the stories of those 12 students and what they were able to participate in and really learn from it was amazing. The extra added bonus was they also got paid for it, so it was a really great opportunity for them to earn some extra money doing something that they were interested in. The same thing's going to happen this year. We are in the middle of interviews and selection for our summer interns for this year who will also participate in the 8-week training program. Approximately 30 students have applied for that internship program, and the Springfield Water and Sewer and their team are going through the selection of that.
That's a great program, Kim and Pam. I was able to witness that, and the students found that turning that spigot on, there's much more that goes on behind the scenes on that, and many more fields. And I think you had either 6 or 8 saying, "Boy, I'd be very interested in pursuing something in water and sewer." So with Josh Simmel, it's a great program, and it was a paid internship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think one of the other sort of work-based learning plans that we want to talk a little bit about, and I'm going to turn it over to Pam, is the Disney Theater, Broadway in Boston and Rodman for Kids partnership, which is a brand new partnership that we had in conjunction with Conservatory of the Arts. So I'm going to turn that over to her to talk a little bit about this slide, and then we'll go from there.
Thanks, Kim.
Yeah, thank you, Kim. Just to add on to your comment, Mr. Mayor, I think the students, the favorite comment I heard as a result was they'll never think of water the same way when they turn on the faucet or when they flush the toilet. So it definitely had a major impact. And now they see the depth and breadth. So as you know, Conservatory, we partnered with Broadway in Boston and Rodman for Kids to bring to light a brand new work-based learning experience in partnership with Disney Theater. It was all generated from a conversation with a contact when we were trying to look for ways to enhance and bolster work-based learning experiences for both our students at the Conservatory. When you think about career paths in the Conservatory, it's a very different space. And so in tandem with that, with Innovation Career Pathways, we really wanted to find ways to broaden and expand the careers that we're exposing those students to. So as a result of that, we reached out for Rodman for Kids. They're a nonprofit organization that's over in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and they offer free tickets to performances from students who can't afford to go to these types of expensive shows otherwise. And so as part of the ask, I happened to mention, I'm like, by any means, can we turn this into some type of career exploration activity? And one thing led to another, and before we know it, we were sitting around a conference call in the middle of August with a team of people, including myself, Linda DeSaro, Marcos, as well as Broadway in Boston, Rodman for Kids. And they said, you know, it's funny, we have Frozen coming in, and they're interested in doing something a little bit different than they've ever done before. Let's see what we can come up with. And lo and behold, due to their leadership and investment, we created this 9-week intensive program where they had in-person Zoom sessions as well as 2 site visits with everybody from ranging from the vice president of Disney Theater to the company manager who was facilitating the traveling Disney Frozen musical show. And the students were exposed to the business model behind the arts and got an understanding of the complexity that goes on within that relationship, understanding the different business units that go into those job paths, and then even all the way through understanding the very complicated logistics and project management skills that go into unloading and loading and scheduling an 18-wheeler travel trailer, 18 trucks worth of equipment, costumes, etc. And so from that, they got to observe a tech check, pre-show tech check, which has never been done before, where they got to watch them go through all the technical aspects before a show starts, and then came back and had a rotational workshop experience with 4 major departments of the traveling show. And we're already hearing impact from that is that students are now starting to think about their careers in the arts a little bit differently and starting to think and working with Linda DeSaro, who's our school to career coordinator, on creating those plans.
So I think the other piece that we've talked about before is our HISEP program. So that is one of our work-based learning programs. It's the High School Senior Internship and Education Project. So this is the grant that we went after at the Department of Ed that provides paid internships to high school seniors who are interested in pursuing a career pathway in education. So we were awarded $35,000 this year to have students who are interested in pursuing education pathways receive 100 hours of paid internship in K-8 classrooms, working with students on interns. And currently we have 35 students participating in that with funding available should additional students become interested. So this is the second year of our HISEP internship program, and the piece that I think is really exciting is when we talk about recruitment and retention of educators. Building our own students and having them get involved and really make some decisions about what grade level they might be interested, what specific content area they might be interested in, and then thinking about after they graduate from school where they go to college and how they might be able to come back and work with us on that is really something that we wanted to dig into, because the possibility, we know with teacher shortage across the nation, there's a way to build our own and to bring them back to our cities. So this is something we'll continue to go after year and invest in, because it's a great opportunity for our kids. And then on this next page, you can see the variety of connecting activities and work-based learning program highlights that our various schools have participated in. I am not going to go into what all of those look like, but I'll just pull out a couple for you. At Central High School, we had the Mass Mutual Finance and Insurance Day. That was a specific program and activity where our students went to Mass Mutual. They met with a variety of individuals there, talked about the different pieces of finance and financial literacy and investment that could happen if they were to pursue different pathways. They met with interns who were there to talk about what potential internships could look like, and they participated in a variety of financial activities, which ties in nicely with some of the financial literacy pieces that we've been working on within the school district. I think another piece that I think we could just touch on is the Bay State Career Fair. So students from the High School of Science and Technology, a cohort of students, went to Bay State in Holyoke, met with representatives from a variety of healthcare avenues, EMTs, x-ray technicians, nurses, frontline healthcare workers, and talked about the variety of pathways that would be available to them in career in a variety of the healthcare fields, and spent a lot of time talking about and learning about the skills and the tools that they would need necessary to be able to really focus on healthcare if that was something that they were interested in. So as you can see, we've been working really hard to provide our students with a variety of career readiness activities and field trips that they could go on so they could talk with business and industry professionals about what it would take to move forward in something they were interested in.
That was hands-on.
Yeah.
And it was actual stuff that they were doing with the simulation. With that, and it was,
Very
the
much.
kids were tremendous. And Pam, thank you on your former career at Mass Mutual on that connection. But that HCC thing was very impressive with the new president, Mr. Timmons, and the kids really opened the kids' eyes.
Yeah, it was great. As we mentioned, it's the second year of our career and internship fair, and that just concluded a couple weeks ago. I'm going to let Pam kind of share a little bit about the successes around that.
Thanks, Kim. So we, again, in collaboration with Hope for Youth and Families, had partnered to work together to plan and execute this event. We held it at the Mass Mutual Center to give us a little bit more breathing room. It gave us the space that we needed to expand and make people feel comfortable. One of the things that we worked with the planning committee that was made up of a cohort of our school to career coordinators at the schools, as well as the Hope for Family team. And one of the things that was really shed some light is the amount of anxiety that our students are still dealing with, and kind of coming out of post-COVID, that we really want to make sure that we're cultivating and developing our young people in a way that they're going to feel comfortable and feel confident. And so this space actually really did help kind of make it seem like people weren't on top of each other, but yet we still doubled the number of students we were able to serve. The other thing that we wanted to do is we wanted to make the prep activities very intentional. We didn't want this to be a fly-by, one-day event. The idea was to really engage those students early on in the readiness process and hold workshops, review resumes, do career exploration, coaching sessions with them, interview prep, elevator pitch, and brought in a variety of resources at the building level to do that. So that way, again, preparing those students for that, they're going to feel more confident, have the opportunity to practice, and really everyone at the building level did a phenomenal job in getting those students ready for that day. Some of the feedback that we're already hearing from our employers is probably the best career fair they have been to, and that we're already seeing a positive impact on the relationships between the schools and the vendors that had participated. Site visits have been coordinated, applications completed for either full-time employment after high school and or summer employment for our students, as well as other networking activities. So we're really happy with the current outcomes. We're still collecting outcomes, obviously, because it's just a few weeks ago and we had break week thrown in the middle of that. So we look forward to capturing the rest of the feedback through a survey through both the students and our employers.
Thanks, Pam.
The next component that we wanted to kind of talk to you about is the Innovation Career Pathways. I'm not sure how familiar everybody is with Innovation Career Pathways. It's a designation that's through the state. You create a program that intentionally ties in what they call the 5 guiding principles, which really does, and it's supposed to address the top talent needs within the state of Massachusetts. So Mass Hire, in partnership with DESE, created a blueprint for each region of the state, and then the Innovation Career Pathway clusters were then created based on those top talent needs that our state is projected to need over in the future. And as we all know, we're all in the middle of it right now. And so the idea is that when you build an Innovation Career Pathways model, is that you're looking to adhere to the 5 guiding principles. That's connection to career, effective partnerships, guided academic pathways, extended supports, and I know I'm forgetting one other one in there somewhere. And enhanced, and equitable access. So the idea is that when you're building a comprehensive program, you're not just expanding the curriculum, but you're also integrating industry intel. You're bringing your partners to the table that will help influence the design of the program, looking for opportunities to embed credentials and certifications, or at least prepare them for those pathways. So I just wanted to kind of give you that overview so that way when you hear Innovation Career Pathways, you kind of at least understand a little bit of what goes into the kind of the guidelines and the design makeup of those programs. So Conservatory was our one and only Innovation Career Pathway, and is currently our still Innovation Career Pathway in digital media production. That program had started back during the COVID year, so you can imagine a lot of things had to be kind of reset. So really excited that Mr. Kelly was able to bring on a phenomenal computer science teacher. We're already seeing an immediate impact it's having on curriculum design as we go forward. We brought on a part-time Innovation Career Pathways coordinator who can work dedicated to engaging more industry partners and creating those career connecting activities that are needed for the program, because it's a 10th through 12th scope and sequence program. We just completed the 3-year review process for the state, and we're waiting for the results back, where we'll be getting a report on the things that they think we're doing well and in areas that we can improve. We were awarded $50,000 to implement the program to support that, as well as an additional $30,000 that just came to us in March, which is helping us tremendously building out those more extended student supports, especially around those higher ed classes that are part of the program. And also working, now that we have somebody kind of being able to take some time and forging on those industry partners. Focus Springfield, who is right here, is becoming part of that conversation, as well as Merriam-Webster.
And so, as Pam mentioned, Conservatory at the time is, and still is, our ICP program for digital media and literacy. But at the beginning of the year, if you recall, we came to you because we were going to go after a Part A planning grant for a new Innovation Career Pathways designation at Renaissance. So we completed that planning grant opportunity, and then we're invited back by the Department of Ed to apply for the actual ICP designation. And so with the team at the central office level and the design team at Renaissance, including Mr. Wright, Mr. Decker, Mr. Donovan, Mr. Sosa, Ms. Stoddard, and Ms. Dill, we sat together over many, many hours planning what we could do around an innovation and career pathway design, what specific industry area we were interested in based on, and tying it into their expeditionary learning practices, and thinking about some of the more recent expeditionary learnings, particularly around combustible trays and the composting that they were interested in. And so we applied and were awarded this past April with the DESE designation for a new ICP designation at Renaissance in environmental science. And so they're competitive grants, and we were really excited about this opportunity. And through that planning and then preparing for an ICP designation, we have to identify higher education partners and industry partners who sign memorandums of understanding to say that they are going to invest in working with us. And so we are partnering with UMass on this particular ICP designation, and we've secured memorandums of understanding with industry partners, including Springfield Water and Sewer, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, the Mass Audubon, Connecticut River Conservatory, The World is Our Classroom, and Fuss and O'Neill. So in the fall, we'll be launching the second Innovation and Career Pathways program at Renaissance in environmental science. And we are actually preparing and planning for another planning grant in the fall, which Pam will talk to you a little bit about at our next school, where we want to have yet another ICP designation happen.
Yeah, so we're not done yet. And so we're looking forward to adding another pathway. So we're doing some preliminary work at Springfield Central High School around an advanced manufacturing program pathway that's going to build off the robotics work done by Mr. Manahan. Our new internship and pathway facilitator that just started this fall has been working with Mr. Guy and Mr. Manahan to be able to start doing some of this pre-work where we're starting to explore industry partners and higher ed partners. So we're looking forward to applying for the year planning grant coming next month, and then forge into the Part A and Part B for next year. So I guess to kind of bring it in for a landing, next is obviously summer opportunities. And so we work really closely. Obviously, Mass Hire is our funding source and our partner. So through YouthWorks and the WIOA funds, there's an application deadline coming up for May 15th. So I just want to give a shout out to anybody who's listening to make sure that you get your applications in. Green Corps is doing a rolling admissions process, so you can get certified in get a green certificate, and they will help you find an internship or summer employment. Bay State Health Workforce Development is doing an information session for people considering careers in healthcare, and they're doing an information session on the 15th. All of this and more can be found on the Springfield School to Career Facebook page. So as information comes available, I post it on there and spread the word through all of our school to career coordinators at each of the schools. You'll also see a construction fair that's coming up on the 13th, and then we have some brand new programs that were just recently added this summer. And then lastly, our plan is during summer melt, we're going to have career coaching office hours held on Tuesdays from 11 to 2 at Putnam. So in closing, I just wanted to thank the committee, Mr. Mayor and Superintendent and Vice Chair and school committee reps for all your support in this work. Couldn't do it without you. And if anyone needs to reach me, my email and phone number is available.
Thank you, Pam, and thank you, Kim. Any questions or comments? I'd like to say, I tell the kids, students, I've had dozens and dozens of interns in my office, and I tell them all the time that these relationships can pay dividends for you down the road because you do a good job and people remember you, and when opportunities open up, say, well, that young lady, that young man did a good job. And off the top of my head, I've had individuals move on to Springfield Police Department, real-time crime analysis, individuals at EDC and economic development, DPW in logistics. I just was jotting down off the top of my head. And even one that interned in my office, now working in my office because he or she did a good job. And you can't put a price. Some are paid, some of these internships is great, you're paid. Some are not paid, but I tell them that the relationships that you make, you do a good job, that employer or that where you are will remember you down the road and say, that young lady, that young man did a good job. Let's give them an opportunity. So I think that's great that you're showing what their education can do and open up their eyes of career paths on it. So thank you, Kim, and thank you, Pam, very, very much. Any other questions? Mr. Collins?
Yeah, this is great because we're moving beyond academics, and that's we need to get kids ready to go to the workforce. Not everybody wants to go to college, and so this is showing kids some pathways where maybe they have to go to college, or maybe they could go right into training programs and move along, and this is educating the whole child, so I think this is a really good thing.
Any other questions or comments?
I would just like
Ms.
to make
Naylor?
a comment as well. I think it really points to a lot of the equity issues that we continue to have in urban districts. A lot of students who have means get that access to go on to job training and stuff like that with families and everything. So when we're providing them with an opportunity to be able to go into a space and learn the professionals' environment, what it's like to be there, what the expectations are, and also giving them an opportunity to be paid for it, really validates for them what their time is, their commitment, and their value, what they bring to the table. Also gives them a sense of confidence that they can commit and they can be successful, and that they have the potential that many of us believe that they have, but oftentimes if they don't see it at home, they don't know that that's there for them. And so I really love this program. I love anytime our young people can get on-the-job training and anything that's going to give them more than the traditional working at a grocery store kind of thing. That happens, but it's not the same as being able to go to this water and sewer or other places like that where they can really tap into those professionals and what it is that they do in the day-to-day. So thank you so much for that, for your intentionality around that, and making sure that we have funding to ensure that our kids are taken care of.
Thank you, Ms. Naylor. Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you, Kim. Thank you, Pam.
Pam, great job.
We'll now move to D, school committee that received 3 finalist superintendent candidates recommendations from, again, I want to thank the ad hoc committee. I want to thank the the Community Review Screening Committee, and I want to again thank Vice Chair Josiah Gonzalez, thank School Committeeman Chris Collins, and School Committee Woman Barbara Gresham. Thank you for serving on when I appointed you on it. And Chris, are you going to make the announcements, or
Yeah,
or Patty? It's just
Amani?
announcing the.
Monty came to the committee last night.
Okay.
Monty was chair of the screening committee.
Monty, thank you very much for all. I know it was a month's commitment, so thank you very, very much.
All right, thank you.
And before you do that, we, all of us, regardless of anything that's going on, it's a lot of hard work. That's not an easy task. And please convey our thanks to your whole team, because you told us last night that you are going to meet with them once more. Please convey the whole school committee's thanks for doing a very important job.
Thank you. All right, good afternoon or good evening, everybody. My name is Imani Hines-Coombs. I'm the current principal at the Academy at Kylie. The three names that are being passed forth are Renee Sanchez, currently superintendent of Champlain Valley School District in Vermont, who resides in Willingsing, Vermont. Kimberly Wells, the lead chief schools officer of Springfield Public Schools, who resides in Springfield. And Dr. Sonia Denal, the chief of family and community engagement for Springfield Public Schools in his Springfield Empowerment Zone district, who also resides in Springfield, Massachusetts. Thank you.
Thank you, Monty, very much.
Thanks, Monty.
In your package, the school committee each has their full resume for you, and you also have a summary of the 5 meetings and the things that we were told to look for in a superintendent. I thought that was important to pass on to the whole school committee. You'll find it towards the back of your page. It says School Committee Ad Hoc, and it's a community hearing summary. There were 5 hearings, and that's a summary of what we heard.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Any other questions or comments?
And also,
Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
can I
Ms.
ask a
Gresham.
also
question,
included
please?
in that is the community input meetings. Thanks to Patty, our secretary, who condensed it. So it's included in there as well.
Thank you, Ms. Gresham. Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor, may I ask a question, please?
Yes, Ms. Hurst.
Patty, was that sent via email?
No, it wasn't sent by email. It was, yes, absolutely.
So can I pick up my packet tomorrow morning if I wear a mask, or if somebody brings it down to me so that I can look at it?
Sure. Denise, if you're not feeling well, we could have someone bring it to your house, too.
That would be great, too. I just want to be able to look at the full packet.
All right? We can have it delivered to you, Denise.
Thank you.
And I hope you're feeling better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll move the report of standing committees, student, parent concerns. Ms. Gresham?
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Thank.
Hear myself still? Okay, thank you. Mr. Mayor, I did have a question.
Sure.
I have a question regarding our conflict of interest policy, and I wanted to know at what point does conflict of interest get considered, if we can ask our legal counsel. When we have a vote on an item and there's a conflict of interest, at what point is a person supposed to remove themselves from the process?
So if I understand your question correctly, if a member of this body believes that another member of this body has a conflict of interest, which is a defined term under the conflict of interest law, so that could be raised publicly or privately. There may be that member doesn't know that there may be a conflict, but again, to raise the issue of a conflict, I would just caution the members with regards to making sure that that member understands the conflict of interest law.
There is the Lawyer for a Day that is available in Boston for anyone to make inquiry if there's a question. And I would just suggest caution before such an allegation is leveled.
Okay, so according to the conflict of interest law, which I'm looking at right now on my iPad, it states that if you have a relative that is an immediate relative or an immediate relative of that relative that could perceive to be having a financial interest in any process that they could benefit from, that therefore lies a conflict of interest. So if one of our members has a child that reports to someone who is on this list here as a possible candidate, wouldn't that deem that there's a financial interest?
So I will not, based upon that information, form an opinion. Again, the conflict of interest law is very careful in terms of definition of immediate family member. I just can't opine on that at this point in time based upon that information. But yeah.
So I did talk to the Ethics Commission yesterday, and they also told me that, which is why I'm asking it right now. And I won't disclose the information, but I wanted to bring it forward so that it's addressed.
So, we are at a point in the agenda with regards to, as I understand, we haven't moved on to another item on the agenda, so we are still, I guess the mayor had asked for standing committee reports, and then you brought that up.
I didn't. My mic was off, so I was trying to talk, and my mic was off.
So we'll leave it at that there needs to be a little more clarification
Sure.
on this. Okay. Vice Chair Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to note on item D for the school committee receiving the final superintendent candidates, and I've been clear about this publicly and in private, that this does not erode the grave legal and ethical concerns that have been raised about this process. So while I believe that each of the candidates, everyone who applied, I believe they have a vision and good intentions for this school department, it doesn't remove the issues that have led us to this juncture. Just a few. Back probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, when there was a call for transparency on the handling of these applications, and in addition to student involvement with this process, I made an attempt to have these items on the agenda. A legal opinion was then pursued. I want to make clear something about this legal opinion that was pursued. The body, the full school committee, nor the ad hoc committee granted authority to no one individual to go seek a legal opinion. Okay? So folks that went out and sought a legal opinion, they did that under advisement, and they went and did this on their own. This was not a vote in the ad hoc committee that granted authority to any one individual to go seek a legal opinion. So as far as I'm concerned, Bulkley, Richardson, and Jelinas, this law firm, is on retainer with the school department and the school district, not representing the interest of any one of us. Attorney Phelps, in addition to Bulkley, Richardson, and Jelinas, also has a contract with the Springfield School Committee. That's what's in your contract, and therefore you represent the body and not any one of us. Is that correct, Attorney Phelps?
Attorney Phelps?
I believe my contract, and again, I would just caution, my contract is not on the agenda tonight, but I will answer this question of yours.
Yeah.
The legal description is that I am available to the committee for consultation and legal advice.
Yes, thank you. So again, getting back to my point, because it's not about your contract, I'm getting to my point here on this search process and how we've received these 3 to 5 final candidates. So after this legal opinion was then received, I received an email, and I think the rest of the members of this body, from Bulkley, Richardson, and Jelinas, Attorney Kennedy, stating that Mr. Collins had asked her to share this with the body. So again, law firm that is supposed to be representing the entire body goes seeks a legal opinion because one individual has asked for this legal opinion, wasn't voted on in the ad hoc committee granting authority to the chair to go seek that legal opinion, nor in the full body. It's then got sought after. The person, apparently Mr. Collins, it would appear based on Attorney Kennedy's email that you received this legal opinion, saw the legal opinion. It appeared that I don't know what it satisfied, what criteria, and then you then asked her, share it with the full body. That's in the email. It says, Chris has asked me to share this with the full body. Bam, shared it with the full body. So again, these issues about legal, then the lawyer for civil rights letter that we received about potential legal issues with this process. These are all the issues that we've had with this process. Several members of this body, the public knows this, for the public's knowledge, have thwarted the attempt to have a special meeting, add items to the agenda, and prevented this from happening. So a couple of things. I want to know who's paying this bill for this legal opinion that one member of this body sought after. Because it wasn't voted on by this, I didn't vote on this. Ms. Gresham didn't vote to go seek a 43-page legal opinion that one member of the full body is asking for. And I think if Attorney Kennedy understood that she was working on behalf of the Springfield School Committee, she should have cautioned and said, let's return to the full body and get authority before we seek whatever legal opinion it is that we're going to seek. So I don't know who's going to pay for that bill. Again, that 43-page legal opinion that was sought after. The other piece of this as well that needs to be dealt with is this idea of democracy for us as a school committee. The chairman, our mayor, our current mayor, colleague on this school committee, Robert's rule states that the chairman serves as the servant of the body, not as the master of the body. Again, another issue on how we got to these 3 to 5 candidates. I've asked, let's have a special committee meeting. Ms. McCarthy has told me, well, we got to wait because the mayor needs violating our policies. Our policies state that the chairman, Mayor Dominic Sarno, the vice chairman, Josiah Gonzalez, can call for a special meeting at any time. That's what our policies state, the ones that we voted on. All of a sudden, because I don't know if it's not convenient to have the meeting or scheduling wise, I don't know what's happened. All of a sudden, those same policies have been violated. So these are all these issues that are surrounding before we get to these 3 to 5 candidates. And for committee members to sit here and ignore those things as if we haven't had those issues and not try to come to some sort of conclusion around this, it's disheartening. Let's get on the debate floor. Let's get into meetings. Let's deal with this. This is what the city wants, the public wants. But for us to ignore it, it's disheartening. Thank you for the time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Gonzalez. No,
Mr. Mayor, may I please?
Mr. Collins has the floor.
Sorry.
So if we're going to talk about transparency, we should have full transparency. When Mr. Gonzalez asked me to put 2 items on the ad hoc committee agenda, I advised Mr. Gonzalez that he should first ask Mr. Kuchar, who is the school committee's approved member technical expert for running the search, whether we should put those agenda items on there. Mr. Gonzalez did call Mr. Kuchar, who informed him, because I spoke to Mr. Kuchar immediately after Mr. Gonzalez, who told him that he should not go forward with those agenda items until you had a legal review, because there were ramifications to the search. It was our approved expert who designed the process, who said to get a legal review before you put these questions on. That's the true transparency of what took place.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Ms. Hurst, please, and then we'll move to standing committees.
Mr. Mayor, I have a statement and both a question. Um, Thank you, Vice Chairman Gonzalez. I have said it several times at every single meeting that we've had, including the budget meeting and any other time that we've had an opportunity to use our voices to talk about this particular process. And so while the superintendent search is extremely important for our district and it is imminent, the reality is that we cannot lose sight of the true issue, which is good governance and the fact that we have had a lack of a democratic process. And so I am thankful to Ms. Imani Hines, who might still be in the crowd. I'm thankful to the screening committee, and I'm thankful to the candidates who put their hat in the ring. But at the end of the day, this process has been flawed, and it continues to be flawed. And I want to make sure that the public understands that. If those three candidates rose through this flawed process, they will rise through a process that is done with equity and transparency and integrity.
Thank you, Ms.
My
Hurst.
question is, I have my question. My question is, can we please, for the viewing public and even for us school committee members, what are next steps? We've received these three names, and now what?
Mr. Collins, would you like to clarify that? I think
We all have a copy of the approved process that clearly spells out the next steps are, which the full committee should vet the candidates over the next couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, whatever time we have. But that vetting process, school committee members should be vetting these three candidates. And what we did in the past was a number of people, either 2 or 3, whatever number, went and chose each vetted individual candidates and then reported on. That's the way the process, and that's the next step that's called for in the approved process that we voted on.
And then there's, as was done with the appointment of Superintendent Warwick, the final meeting, which is a public meeting, questions, and a vote is undertaken by the full school committee. Last time that was done at the Van Sickle Middle School Renaissance some 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah, there would have to be public interviews after the vetting
That's
is
right.
completed.
That's right.
And can you share how the vetting is going to happen, Mr. Collins? How is that going to happen? Are we going to have a meeting to discuss that? Is that going to be decided upon by the ad hoc committee? Is it going to be decided on somebody unilaterally? How is that going to work?
My intent was we can either hold an ASHOC, but I don't want just the ASHOC committee involved in saying, so I was going to ask the secretary to contact each school committee member and see if they have any preferences as to how any of the candidates that are the three candidates that they would like to be involved in vetting. We're not all going to work on one, obviously. You know, there's 6 of us and there's 3 candidates. It would seem that 2 people should vet each one.
And is that vetting process going to be uniform? How is that going to happen? Are we going to all have the same question? Like I and the public are interested in knowing how exactly is this going to happen?
Vetting process is
and
not.
It sounds like it's not 100% clear as to how it's going to happen. And if that's the case, is that not a reason for us to be able to come together for a special meeting and discuss how we can ensure that this happens with some level of uniformity?
Yeah, vetting process don't have specific questions. We certainly could bring Mr. Kuchar in and meet with the whole body to review how vetting typically takes place. He's the expert and he's our expert. So we could set up a meeting and bring Mr. Kuchar in to go through that process with us.
Any other questions, Ms. Hurst?
Again, yes, I'm not done. So here we go again with the fact that a vetting process doesn't have uniformity. So how do we ensure that there is a level of equity and that each candidate is being treated the same exact way or receiving the same exact questions or getting the same vetting process? How do we ensure that if we can't come together and have a conversation about how we're going to proceed with vetting candidates. So two of us go and vet one candidate and we do it one way, and the other two go and vet another candidate and do it one way. Like that to me, again, is problematic and flawed.
First, that bringing Mr. Kuchar in now, I know there could be some standard vetting procedures, but also you're looking at different careers from these three finalists, which would bring across different vetting, off maybe some standard vetting practice. But again, Mr. Collins has indicated.
Mr. Kuchar is the expert. We should have him come in and
bring him into
say-
the full committee.
And obviously, we would all need to be in the meeting if he's going to, so he would explain it to us all at the same time.
Yeah. Ms. Hurst? Say again, Ms. Hurst?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm done.
Yeah, Ms. Hurst?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am finished.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I can ask a question of our legal counsel as it relates to our policies. If you'd be so kind, Attorney Phelps, I have a question for you.
As I've previously stated, if it is a question regarding policy under this topic of the Superintendent Selection Committee, it has been the wish of this body that I am not to provide legal counsel on that issue. So I would decline at this point in time to respond to any questions as we are on the agenda item regarding the Superintendent Selection Committee.
Thank you, Attorney Phelps.
Mr. Mayor, if I may. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to understand something here, because I think it's important that the public begins to see some of these things so we can operate in transparency. It appears to be the theme of this evening. So our policies state, again, that the chairman or the vice chairman can call for a special meeting. Member of this body, I believe the last speaker had just mentioned they would ask the secretary to reach out to all of us to figure out a date for a special meeting. So I'm trying to follow this line of logic, and I hope that my colleagues can assist me here, because I'm not the brightest bulb in the room. So when our policies stipulate that members can call for a special meeting, the meeting is not posted and put on the agenda. When other members call for a special meeting, then those meetings get posted and the agenda is set forth. I'm trying to understand this here. I understand that we have a certain way of government in the city, but this body is governed by a set rule of policies, and this seems in itself to be flawed. So whether or not, although Attorney Phelps wanted to exclude herself, whether or not we're dealing with the superintendent search process or any issue as a school committee, any issue, the policy sits upon any issue. Doesn't matter if it's the superintendent search process, those 400 pages of policy that we have, they speak to any issue. So on the issue of special meetings, if we can't deal with this issue today, it doesn't matter if we need a special meeting 6 months from today and only certain members can call for them despite what our policies state, then we are going to find ourselves in the same predicament that we do today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Vice Chair Gonzalez. Yeah, Mr. Collins.
If Mr. Gonzalez was listening, I did not say I was going to call have the secretary ask people for a date for a special meeting. That never came out of my mouth. I originally said I was thinking of having the secretary call and ask which candidates that the people would want to be involved in. And as Mrs. Hurst brought up another point about how do we do it and how do we make sure we do it correctly, that's when we talked about bringing in Mr. Kuchar. I never requested a special meeting. I never said the secretary was going to call to request it. I don't like people putting words in my mouth when they're not accurate.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. We'll move now to standing committees.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Ms. Naylor.
Where is the attorney that's supposed to be managing the process for the superintendent search? Because this is the second time that we've been in a meeting and we've had questions about the superintendent search, and we are supposed to have an independent attorney that we are supposed to be paying to be at these meetings, which we were told at the meeting when we voted to accept an attorney who was supposed to be external and only working on this process, that they would be available to us in the meetings and at any time that we were meeting about anything concerning the superintendent search. So if you or any other member on this body feel that people are questioning the process, it's because we voted on things in the meeting and the things we voted on did not happen. We voted on the screening committee being able to screen the applicants, yet we had 11 or 12 people that applied and only 5 of them made it through as finalists, and nobody knows what the rubric was that was used. Nobody knows exactly how one person determined why the other 6 folks were not included and why they were excluded from the process. There's no explanation of that. There's no clarity on that. We were told that any meetings that were had by the ad hoc committee that we would be able to then meet as a body to discuss the things that were discussed in the ad hoc meeting, that we were secured in that meeting, that don't worry about it, you all will be included in the process. When you decided unilaterally, Chair, that we were going to have Mr. Gonzalez, Mrs. Gresham, and Mr. Collins be on the ad hoc committee, you told us, the rest of us who did not make it on, that we would be involved in the process. However, that did not happen. We were not involved in the process, and until tonight, we're not even able to have a real conversation around what has transpired. So we have 3 candidates that have been put before us. We are assuming that there was some process that was used. We don't know what that process was, that was used. Excuse me, I'm getting a little tongue-tied because I'm a little flustered. But my understanding when I voted 6 weeks ago or whenever it was that we would have a screening committee that would screen all of the applicants according to what we had listed in our application. I remember saying very clearly in that meeting, I did not believe that we should not use an external search firm because none of us have HR credentials or experience or understand how to go through the hiring process. We were assured that we have the capacity to do that and that the process would not be breached. Yet we had a press conference in this very room where it was stated that somebody who had applied was related to a member on this body. So all of these things transpired, and I am confused, I'm perplexed as to why there is any angst from any members on this body as to why we would not feel comfortable or sure of the process moving forward when the things we voted on 6 weeks ago were not adhered to. So to repeatedly say, these are the things you guys voted on, this is the attorney that you all selected, that is not true. We never selected the attorney. We never had a procurement process. We never had a vetting process for who was going to actually be the attorney that would oversee this process. So I want to make sure it's very clear to people that maybe some people had say in that. I did not have a say in that, and many of my other colleagues did not have a say in that. So I will be quiet so we can go into the standing committees, but I want to make it clear that there were a lot of things that we were not included on that we were told that we would be included on. And now to sit here and for us to act like that's not the case, I'm having a difficult time with that. But at any rate, I'll be quiet at this point.
Thank you, Ms. Naylor.
Mr.
Well,
Mayor,
now, Mr. Collins.
Mr. Mayor,
There have been a number of things that have been stated over and over and over that are not accurate. If you go back and look at the process that we voted on, it never said that the screening committee would get all the candidates to review. It said that the screening committee would review the people who met the minimum criteria. Go back and look at what we voted on. Go back and look at the minutes of the meeting where we voted. We chose Bulkley Richardson that evening because it evolved from the discussion that members of this committee did not want anybody in our organization seeing or looking and be involved in receiving those. And that Bulkley Richardson was voted on that evening. If you go back and look at the minutes of the meeting, you will see that it was. People continually repeat things that are not accurate. And, you know, I know some people think if you say something over and over enough, it becomes true. It's in writing. The process was voted on. Go back and read it. There was never once the anticipation that the screening committee would see all candidates. They would only see the ones that met the minimum criteria. It's right in the timeline. It's right in what we voted on.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. We'll now move to Building and Maintenance Committee.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr.
I had
Collins?
asked to be recognized prior to Mr. Collins speaking, or probably at the same time.
Ms. Hurst.
I want to make a formal request, going a step further to what Ms. Monroe Naylor just highlighted for us. From here on out, until this search comes to an end or is concluded, we need to have the attorney present. There is no reason why they are not present. We need to have the attorney present, especially if we cannot ask our current counsel any questions regarding this search. The attorney's role should be able to be present, and they should be available to us in order for us to get the questions answered that we need answered.
Fair request, Ms. Hurst, fair request. So we'll make note of that, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go to Buildings and Maintenance Committee, Mr. Collins.
Did you skip student parent concerns?
No, we actually had started that, but then committee
Oh,
wanted
I'm
to speak
sorry.
wanted to speak on the old subject, which I allowed. So
I'm
there was
sorry,
no
just didn't
report.
want you-
Yeah,
your committee's-
yeah.
No report from Building and Maintenance.
Thank you. C is Legislative and Contracts Committee, Ms. Naylor.
Yes, we had a meeting recently to discuss our policies and our procedures. We discussed our open meeting law and how it relates to and Robert's rules and how it relates to our policies. We have several policies that are dated that need to be updated, and so that we will be working on, particularly as it pertains to how items are added to the agenda and the flow of the meeting. And so we will continue to have those meetings so that we can come with language that Attorney Phelps is working on to make sure that we can, in the near future, vote on recommending some changes to the full body.
Thank you, Ms. Naylor. Any questions or comments? Okay, D is Curriculum Programs Committee, Ms. Hurst, please. Say again, Ms. Hurst.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we addressed the item that was brought before the Curriculum and Program Subcommittee earlier this evening on the agenda.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Budget and Finance Committee, Mr. Collins.
Type of report, we've already addressed the items on the agenda.
Thank you. Vocational Education Committee, Attorney, yes. I'm sorry, Ms. Naylor.
And at the last meeting, the budget meeting that we had, Mr. Collins stated that he was going to have a Budget and Finance Subcommittee regarding the items that we discussed, and I just wanted to follow up as to when that is going to happen.
Yeah, I intended, well, we get through, I was going to schedule, hopefully next week, we'd schedule one to a Budget and Finance Committee to talk about the item, especially, I think maybe if we separate and do one at a time.
Okay.
Maybe we'll start with legal. And I'll see if people are available next week.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Ms. Naylor. Thank you, Mr. Collins. Vocational Education Committee, Attorney Murphy. Peter? Say again, Attorney Murphy? You might have had to get off. Okay. Technology Committee, Vice Chair Gonzalez.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Chair. School Safety Committee, Ms. Gresham.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, Ms. Hurst, please. Say again, Ms. Hurst.
No, nothing to report at this time, Your Honor.
Thank you. Report of the student representative, Janelle Vergara, made that report during our student advisory speak out, so we appreciate that. She had to leave. Janelle, thank you. Report of the superintendent. Superintendent Ward, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll make it brief. We've had a long night. The After Dark program, there's an article in there that Mass Live Dinner or After Dark program, one of the first After Dark programs in the state that's been very successful. And you can read the article and see it. Another piece I did, I include a copy of the fields at Central, and I wanted to point out this is what a lot of our ESSER funds were spent on, but every school had a different project based on the teams at the school and what they wanted to do. So you're going to see all those projects coming to fruition over the summer and into the early fall. This is just an example of Central's, and it's rather remarkable what was done there.
The baseball teams have having a great year, too.
Yeah, it is,
And
yeah.
a couple of guys are being scouted right now and going to good colleges, too.
But again, I think you're going to have projects, and 30 years from now, these projects are going to be something that we're all proud of, that the schools came up with. And a lot of other communities spent the ESSER on personnel, and they're now laying off. We had the fiscal prudence not to do that, so I'm thrilled with that. And there's a contracts report in there. If you have any questions on that, you can contact Pat Roach.
Thank you, Superintendent Warwick. And any questions, Superintendent's report? Hearing none, unfinished business?
Mr. Mayor?
Vice Chair Gonzalez.
Just returning to the 3 to 5 candidates piece, is it possible for us to commit or make a motion to have a special meeting to establish the vetting process? I know that Mr. Collins mentioned that we would reach out to Glenn, but I think it's important that we convene as a full-body special school committee to review that vetting process, and I want to make sure that we commit to that this evening publicly, that we're going to have a special meeting for that. Mr. Collins clarified that what he had mentioned was, Mr. Collins, you had mentioned that you would reach out to see what candidate folks wanted to vet, but I just want us to commit to having a special meeting, working meeting to discuss the vetting process. I don't know if I need to make a motion that we do that.
And let me just clarify that, yeah.
And see when we can get him here. And it is important that the entire committee, so it should be a committee of the whole, because if we're all going to be involved, we should all hear the same message at the same time. I will contact Mr. Kuchar and get some times where he can do that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair, and thank you, Mr. Collins. New business? Hearing none, is there a motion on the floor to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved by everybody. Is there a second? Second by everybody, too. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Monroe-Naylor?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney
Yes.
Murphy? Attorney Murphy, absent. Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient vote. This matter passes. Again, happy Mother's Day. Thank you for watching. Good evening, good health, and God bless. Thank you very much.